Hello, everybody. I am Demetra K, and I hope you're having a great day. I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat, also known as the Black Yule Burner, Sadiq, and all of that. I should say that the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, to my wonderful, beautiful, lovely moderators, I love you dearly. Thank you for all that you do in holding down the comment section. I could not and would not do this without you. Today, we're going to be having, I think, a very interesting conversation. As you all know, you may not know, especially if you live in Texas. And this is, in a sense, from what I understand, internationally popular, right? The Houston Livestock and Rodeo Show is going on now. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of foolishness that have taken place. And I've had a few, I wasn't even going to talk about this, to be honest with you, but I've had a few people reach out to me, asking me my opinion and say, you should talk about it. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's what we're going to be talking about. I have some other things I want to talk about, but I guess I can get to them later on in the week. But this is a very interesting conversation. So we're going to be talking about a brawl that took place last night with some teens, and some about the dress code. Unfortunately for you guys, y'all won't see none of the attire because it's, not made for TV. But listen, before I give it to Donovan, I am going to be along with Brother Phil, the African Diaspora News Channel, at the Ohio Black Expo. Once again, they are inviting us out to partake in a wonderful conversation with you all. We had a great time last year, and we're looking forward to a great time this year. So if you want to have a conversation with us, please get your tickets at OhioBlackExpo.com, OhioBlackExpo.com, and I can guarantee you will not see any of that foolishness that you're hearing about at the Houston Rodeo there, okay? It will not be. It'll be a great time. Also, if you want to come on out to Toronto, Canada, and have another conversation with myself, Brother Phil, Sister Emma, Dr. Vibes, that Brother Theo, and a whole host of other people are going to be at this summit. It's going to be one of the biggest summits that African Diaspora News Channel has ever had. It's one of many. So if you're interested, please come out to Toronto, Canada, and come have a conversation with us. You can get your tickets at africandiasporanews.org/Canada, africandiasporanews.org/Canada. I cannot wait to see you all there. Donovan, how's it going?
Nice and hot and dry here in the desert of Southern California, but I love it. This is what it's about. We want snow. We drive to it. The beach is 60 minutes away, 45 depending on which beach you're going to. San Diego's right down the street. Tijuana's a little bit past that. It's all good over here. So it is 3 o'clock or 3:10 now, but 3 o'clock here, and that means you could be anywhere you guys want to be, and we appreciate you guys for tuning in to have these great conversations. We're going to lighten it up because being a person who is born in Louisiana, for those of you guys that don't understand what Louisiana is, also at the Houston Rodeo, as you guys know, Mama Tina had some gumbo, and I'm very sure some of you guys saw the reviews on her gumbo. But baby, let me tell you, my mama being the one that makes the best gumbo in the world, she used to have annual gumbo tron every January for the new year. But again, we'll get into that as we get into the program. But do us a favor, there's a scrolling banner at the bottom and have these great conversations and lighten up the thing. There's ways you guys can contribute if you'd like to do that. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. And just like Demetra K said, if you guys want to get announcements and know where the African Diaspora News Channel crew is hanging out and where they might be, a good way to do that is the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. You'll get great content as far as the Emancipation Channel, videos from Demetra K, Brother Phil Scott, Wongel, Vicky Dillard, and a whole host of other contributors. Again, it is a great source to find out where these people are going to be, and if you want to see them and attend to them. And again, if you are a traveler or thinking about traveling, the app has a travel section. And this year, the crew is going to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And I'm going to tell you guys, if I go on that trip, you will never see me again. I'm cutting off all video feed. Don't try to find me. I'm just there. Well, the fellas, email me. I'll tell you where I'm at if you guys happen to be down there. But anyway, this is going to be a great conversation. I think it's going to be pretty fun. Because we're talking about the carnival and see. And again, it's kind of sad because we've experienced that here in the Inland Empire. We had great venues that we used to be able to go to and have fun. We had a club where you were 18. It's like your first club you could ever go to and have a good time. But then the knuckleheads come in there, the drugs, the whatever, element of people come in there, and that all gets shut down. And I guess what we're going to see here in this conversation, some of the foolishness that goes on within our communities at public events. So let's get into it.
So once again, hello everybody. Brother Reddy says, shoot us some pictures. Donovan, nah, not on this show. Dwayne, how you doing? Says, praise Jesus. Andrea, Hawaii, all the money. What? Okay. So anyway, let's get into it for the sake of time. So of course, the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Show takes place every year since 1931. I think with the exception of a few years. I know one was the pandemic, where Lizzo originally was supposed to perform, but she wasn't able to. Again, the pandemic shut everything down, but she was there this year. I happened to go to see Lizzo. It was a phenomenal presentation. She did a great job. But I will also say that is my second time going. So I went to the rodeo last year to see Journey, but the concert, the stage caught on fire. So, we didn't get to see that or whatever. But I will say this year when I went, I was very, I don't want to say appalled. I was discouraged and taken aback, I guess, maybe due to a lot of the attire or lack thereof that I saw when I was there. I saw more body parts than I cared to see. And I don't know. It's just horrible. I went to the concert and then I went right to the shuttle and went to the parking lot and we went home, right? I didn't stay for no Tina's gumbo. I didn't stay for none of that. I left. There was a lot going on. I'll tell y'all, and I told y'all this last week when I was there, we were leaving the concert. There was a gentleman. He came up to me. He says, if you don't mind me saying, you look spectacular. Now, mind you, I was dressed from head to toe. And I thought, well, thank you so much. But I thought that was kind of something else. That I had probably the most clothes on than anybody there. And out of all of that, you said I look spectacular. So anyway, I was grateful for that. But again, I was sad. So I started to see a lot more commentary about this dress code or not the dress code, but the attire. Now, traditionally, I guess people are supposed to dress like a cowgirl, cowboy, right? Your hats and your boots and your jeans and your rodeo shirts. But I tell you, there was booty shorts and tops that it was just a lot. Okay. Now, from what I understand, the rodeo was a family affair, but then some people say that they tell the children to leave after 7. And I didn't know, as I said, if it turned into a rodeo, I don't know, I know that I didn't want to be there to see all of that. So I couldn't imagine children. I've seen a lot of people say that they had their children there and they had to cover their eyes. They didn't know which way to look. It was just a lot going on. And then unfortunately, it sounds like last night or the night before there was a brawl that took place. So I'm going to show y'all 2 videos. You're not going to see too much of the brawl for obvious reasons, right? Hopefully I don't get in trouble for showing you what I did find and put together. And then I'm also going to show you a commentary about the attire. So I'll show you that one first. So here we go.
Out at the rodeo and a new ick has been unlocked. When you see a girl with like shorts on or a skirt and the bottom of her ass cheeks are hanging out of the skirt or shorts, that is an ick. Why do you need attention that bad?
Y'all getting on here saying that Houston Rodeo needs a dress code is literally the ramifications of us telling y'all that you should not go out into public with bonnets, pajama pants, all of that. You should take pride in your appearance when you go out into public. Like, we're literally seeing a trickle-down effect. It started with, oh, I can wear a bonnet and my hair wrapped up in public. Oh, I can, wear pajamas in public. Oh, I can wear see-through clothing in public. We're looking at a trickle-down effect. So now you've raised a culture of people, oh, I can do whatever I want. I can show up however I want. People can't judge me. Only God can judge me. And so now that's what the generation behind us is now proving. Or my generation too, technically. So you got to pick a side. Literally, the people who wear their behind out, the people who have on see-through clothing, and I've seen it all. I've been locked in on Houston Rodeo outfits, child. These are the people that will wear a bonnet in public. These are the people that will argue you down to wear a bonnet or to wear pajama pants in the airport. No regard, no respect, for their appearance or anything. We're literally watching in real time the way things unfold.
Okay, so that was some commentary on the way people dress, and I saw a plethora of commentary, and just people. A lot of people really just appalled and disbelief that it has gotten this bad now. As the brother said, he said a new level of a new ick. That means like he's grossed out, right? Has been unlocked for him, and that he's seen all these butt cheeks and this, that, and the other. At the rodeo, and then the sister was basically saying this is in a sense, a slippery slope of the whole bonnet conversation. She said, in her opinion, these are the same people that will argue about being able to wear bonnets and pajamas outside. You can't say nothing to them. And she's firmly believing that those are the same people that will, go to the rodeo dressed that way. I can't show y'all these pictures because a lot of it was just like, wow, right? Now, we'll say this. It wasn't just Black women dressed like that. I will say, from what I saw that night, it was predominantly Black women. Okay, I'm just going to say that. So it wasn't just, but in my opinion, from what I saw, predominantly Black women. Okay, now we're going to go to the brawl portion of it, where it seems like it was mostly teens. I didn't know that was there. And from the research that I saw, it wasn't just our children, but it was predominantly our children. Okay, so this is just a snippet of some of the stuff that I saw.
The ghetto. The ghetto. The ghetto.
Here we are again. Here we are again.
I'm so irritated because people are now using what happened at the Houston Rodeo to be extremely racist towards Black people on every social media platform that I have seen today. They shouldn't have been fighting at the fucking rodeo, period. But I feel like everybody is now using this as an excuse to be racist. Like I posted earlier talking about how it kind of irritated me because I stay right by them. Someone comes under my picture and said, under my video and said, Black fatigue. Like, it's getting out of hand.
Okay, so again, that was just a small snippet of the brawl. It was a lot more brutal than that. Obviously, I can't show it for a whole host of reasons, but the videos that I've seen, I had 2 people send them to me. I saw people's hair being snatched out of their scalp, not just the wigs. I saw wigs, but hair braids being snatched out. Just brutal, right? Brutal brawling going on, and it mostly looked like teenagers and things like that. And so there's a lot of commentary about, the kids are out of control. They're unsupervised. There's been commentary basically saying I've even had somebody say that they should shut the rodeo down, right? Shut the rodeo down. I've heard people say that there should be a dress code, and just a whole host of other things. Now, from what I understand too, they have certain themes, right? So I guess the night that I went on last Friday, not this Friday, but last Friday was Black Heritage Night. So during Black Heritage Night, it sounds like it used to belong to Bun B, but recently, they gave it over because a lot of people are getting Bun B fatigue. So Lizzo had it this last time, right? So I would say there was a good amount of Black people out there, as it would be, right? And then I know they have Tejano Night, and so they have different themes and things like that. But again, the question is, should there be a dress code? And should they? Now, this particular thing, that the brawl that happened last night was a carnival. So they have a carnival there, and I guess they have to shut the carnival down. Now, people were saying they heard there was some people with pew-pews out there and with shanks. So people were just running, trying to get out of there. But they said that there was no pew-pew, or nobody got, shanked up or whatever it is. So a lot of people are rethinking whether that's something they want to partake in anymore. And to be honest with you, I'm one of those people who are rethinking if that's something that I'm going to do again. Like I said, I didn't like what I saw. I don't have small children, but I wouldn't be able to take small children or any teenagers there due to the indecency there. And then the brawling and things. And I will say this because I was having a conversation with somebody earlier, and they brought up like the Taste of Soul and things like that in Los Angeles. Now, I've been a plethora of Black events, okay? And some of them, there has been some fights, but I would say most of them and pretty cool, right? The Taste of Soul is Los Angeles, probably California's biggest Black event. Okay, it happens every October. Taste of Soul. We have all these food vendors come out, and you have concerts. It's free. It's completely free to the public. They shut down a portion of Crenshaw, and it's just thousands and thousands and thousands of people there. Okay, all day long. And I haven't really heard of any incidents. I've gone a copious amount of times. My father, when he was FOI, Fruit of Islam, they would work what they call post, where they would man the event, if you will. They were kind of like security. They were hired to do it, every year. So it wasn't really any problems. But to see something like this at the Houston Rodeo, I think we need to have a discussion as to what do we need to do. How do we bring the village into this? What is the issue? Basically, I guess, how do we get the woman to put some clothes on? How do we get the children to stop fighting? What do we need to do, Donovan? And then I'm going to get into the comments section. But let me see real quick. And I promise you, I'm going to get to all you guys.
Yes, please go to the comment section first and recognize our co-hosts.
Yes, indeed. Beverly, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Donovan, what say you? And I'll get to you guys' comments in a minute.
It's a simple fix. See, I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me, but it's a simple fix. Get the Black fathers back into the homes and get these kids under control. It is a known fact that when a young girl has a father in the home, she is less likely to embarrass his name because the father is on that A. You know what I'm saying? He's on it. And any of his children, usually. And I'm not trying to bring up this, that. It's a simple fix. Get the fathers back in the home. And if the father cannot be in the home, get the father figure or the father himself to spend more time with, you can't make him spend more time. But the point is, it's a simple fix. The man is the leader of the community. I don't care what you ladies say. The men have been set up to be the leaders. And it's been like that since the beginning of time. For those of you guys that are Bible thumpers, obviously, if you don't believe that, you're reading the wrong stuff, because in every religion, the man is set up to be the leader. So it's a simple fix to me. I have 2 nieces, and I will tell you, my brother raised his daughters, and I will tell you, the main thing my brother told them, don't go out there and embarrass his family name. Don't go out there and do that. And they haven't done that. So I'm just speaking on my experience. But the sad thing about that whole situation of the brawl, whatever, I remember a young, scrapping Demetra K fighting at Norda Vista, left, right, and indifferent, fighting for justice, fighting for the BSU before she skipped class and went to the other school to go see her boyfriend. And when we were in school, Demetra, okay, if girls had beef or anybody had beef, you let them fight. But then when it gets out of hand, you stop it and you break it up, because nobody wants to see women fighting. Like I said, when the girl's shirt busts open and you can see her breasts, the fight's over at that point. So again, I have to question, why is it that young men, instead of breaking up the fight, are pulling out their phones, talking about World Star, rather than stopping these women from fighting? That's part of being leaders in the community. No man wants to see the women out there fighting like that, ladies. I'm just telling you, we don't want to see it, unless you're in you're a professional or something like that. But street brawling, ain't gonna happen. So it's a simple fix. The simple fix is to get these Black fathers and these so-called uncles, or whatever these Black men are, back into the community to lead. And eventually the women will follow. That's just a fact.
Absolutely. And I forgot to address one other thing too. So at the end of that, where the sister was mad, that the racist is what she says, were saying, oh, I got Black fatigue and things like that. And there were a lot of racist comments made, Black fatigue, this, that, and the other. I don't really necessarily pay attention to what them people are saying or whatever it is, but I think it's it's definitely a fair conversation, because at some point in time, we are going to have to address the ills that go on in our community. We can't always dismiss it as, oh, you're just being racist. Yes, that is, 2 things can be true at the same time, that they are racist, okay? And we need to get control of our community because the community belongs to us. So we cannot concede the power over our community, because we know that, the devil's mouth ain't no prayer book. They got the most degeneracy going on in their community. So they really should be quiet when it comes to what goes on in our community, because while we got issues in our communities, the things that they do, it just, trumps, no pun intended, right? It trumps the things that we have going on. And then we really wanted to, shirk a little bit of responsibility. Where did we learn it from? You know what I mean? They got the most savagery going on in their community. They got the nerve to open their mouths like, go on and continue eating your mayonnaise sandwiches if you don't mind.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to address what you said. Ladies, gentlemen, the word racism, when you ascribe racism to everything that goes on, the word means nothing. I'm watching videos of just people being arrested, or just people, people are in the wrong, but the cop is arresting them and it's racist. This is going on and it's racist. Everything is racist. It's getting to a point where it doesn't mean anything. Everything can't be racist. Let's just be real about that. When you use the word for every connotation of everything that happens to you or somebody else, the word is watered down and it means nothing. We got to stop doing that. You call racism when it is racism, and when it's not, you don't.
Yeah, and I would say too with that, because most things that do happen to Black Americans is racist. I think that's kind of where it's like an all the time conversation. But there's things that we can do in our community that we have control over. Hey, Monet, how you doing? So I'm gonna jump in the comment section, just get you guys. And Brother Reggie, I meant to add that too. The rodeo started due to recognize local agriculture, so it was really about agriculture, and it became a whole lot of other things. I don't know if I've even seen it. They do have a part, because I went last year, where you have the cows and that kind of stuff. So you go see that. But then now they got the carnival, the concerts, and a whole host of other things. So yes, it started due to agriculture. So yes. Scoop, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He says we don't need a dress code. Having self-respect code will take care of that. Yeah, absolutely. Buckhorse, how you doing? Hope you're doing well today. JJ says kids are violent because the parents are out of control. Absolutely. And I will say this, and this is some of the commentary that I had with somebody else earlier. I said, and there were some, men or boys out there fighting as well. I just wanted to say that. But I think there's probably a little bit of a correlation. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Some of those kids that were fighting last night and the night before, mamas was probably the ones rolling around with their butt cheeks out the week before and all of that other stuff, because where you have silly kids usually come from silly parents, mom and dad, right? Usually the parents are silly. They're not teaching their children anything. They're not teaching them self-respect. They're not, until, the other sister's point, we have a generation you can't say nothing to. And that's because we are become parents. I say we collectively become parents to where you're afraid of your children. See, I come from a mama and a grandmama, both of them, that would say, no, ma'am, where's your slip? That dress is too short, right? My daddy was that way as well. It wasn't like, well, can't say nothing to them type thing. Nah, because see, my parents wasn't scared of me and I wasn't scared of my kids. When I say kids, I have a daughter, and then I raised some other, my niece and nephews as my own. So I wasn't scared of them either, okay? Now I had some of them that wanted to, well, can I wear this? No, ma'am. Like I used to wear pencil skirts, okay? Because I'm grown. And one of mine wanted me to buy her a pencil skirt. I was like, no, but you wear them because I'm grown, okay? You are a child. Pencil skirts ain't for children, okay? And she understood that, but I wasn't going to say, well, you right. Nah, pencil skirts is for grown women, boo-boo, So we got to get back to that. But when I was there last week, I was like, we're not teaching our children anymore. We're not teaching them appropriateness and how to be in public. You know what I mean? Like when you go outside, this is for men and women. You just think about, like my mom would say, you're going to be in mixed company. So I'm going to the rodeo. I want to have everything hanging out, this, that, the other. Okay, it might be some grown, older people there, some church people, some kids, people, husbands, wives like this. Everybody don't want to be subjected to me. Now, the other thing I think we should entertain is maybe the rodeo should have what I call a no ma'am greeter. Or no, sir. No, ma'am. Like, you need to go back and put the rest of that outfit on. But the rules are the rules. Okay. I see a little bit too much what you got going on. You can't come up and see, it has to be two-sided because we know society has lost its mind. Society is out of its mind. So there should be some checks and balances at the door. No, because you ain't going into Ruth Chris dressed like that. Or Steak 48 places. I've never been, but I'm just saying, I'd imagine these jacket only places. You ain't I know people who are like Lyft drivers and stuff. They've tried to drop people off at these hoity-toity places, and these women got these dresses all the way up to the hoo-ha, and they had to go back home because the restaurant wouldn't let them in there like that, or it was see-through. So it has to be a joint effort. No, ma'am. Or little boy, little girl, that's inappropriate. And then when you teach them that as children, they grow up and hopefully they adhere to those teachings. But ain't nobody teaching no more. That's part of the problem. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Albert Chu says, oh, well, thank you for telling people to get the likes up. Love and appreciate you for that. One Who Cares says, enforce dress code. I should have read that and stick to it for the future events. Yes, I mean, at some point, like, you have to go with the ideology. Everybody can't come in here. This ain't for everybody. If you don't have the sense God gave a cricket to put some clothes on, then you cannot come here. There's clubs all over Houston or wherever that allow you to be butt naked. Just not the rodeo. It's a family event, but I would say this too. This is where I'm going to step on some toes. There's some churches that you can see, not that. Okay, I haven't seen that in churches, but I've seen some things. It's like, where the Usher board? Where the mother gang, the mother board, they letting people come up in the church dressed like that now? So we need to get back to that. Hey, Brother Damon, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Israelite, it says they act like their mothers. Oh, Lord. Tiffany, how you doing? It says marriage matters as well. Come on now. See, people don't want to have that conversation. You put a baby in somebody, you need to be going down the aisle. If you don't want to go down the aisle with that woman, don't put a baby in her. The same thing for the women. Stop laying down with dudes who ain't trying to marry you, right? And if you ain't trying to marry, then I'm not going to carry. Or if I have to carry, you don't want to marry, and then when I carry you to the child support office, then you're going to be mad.
Reppin' Magazine OG says, dress like you go into court. I'm going to have to push back on that a little bit, Reppin' Magazine OG, because I've been to court and people come in there with T-shirts and some Dickies, and, it's not a good look. And, I don't know. I just have to push back on that because not everybody's going to go looking, especially the majority of the people that do go to court, criminal court, they don't go there looking their best. They go there basically as they are. So,
yeah. Hey, Tim, how you doing? Says first time watching this live and subscribing. Well, thank you. Well, the other thing too is, I've been to court before. Okay. And on there, it does have a dress code, but even the court has gotten lax. I mean, you couldn't even go in there with like a tank top on or flip flops or shorts. You had to go in there with some clothes on. But nowadays, people go to, so I think society has laxed the rules a little bit where it should be, no, you need to be appropriate there's places you cannot go any and every way. I even think that places, if you coming up in here pajamas, ma'am, sir, you need to go home and wake up. Okay. Get some clothes on before because like at what point, like we've seen some, like on airlines and stuff, different videos where people, they won't let me get on the plane. No, you got on a bath. I saw one where the lady had on a bathrobe. I kid you not. She had a bathrobe on with a.
Wasn't she suing? And wasn't she going to sue?
Good luck, lady. Okay, but she had a bathrobe on and a little bitty bra top and like little bed panties, and she was mad because they told her she couldn't fly. So she gets on video, makes a big deal. It's like, why is this even a conversation, lady? This is not normal. You shouldn't even go out to check the mail dressed like that, let alone hop your funky tail on an airplane.
Now, speaking as an aviator myself, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was trying, to make the Mile High Club with her significant other or something. So maybe that was the reason of her distortion.
Maybe she's just a donkey. Maybe she's just an idiot, because when we was coming up, we was told it's not nice to call people stupid. Well, if they stupid, they stupid. You know what I mean? And is it stupid to come out with it? Now, I'm not even talking about no silk nightgown. It was one of them terry cloth nightgowns. She coming outside and she want to hop on the plane and then want to argue down to people because they like, no, ma'am. Like, this is just, and this shit hurts. And wait, I think they even went to jail. They went to jail because it got kind of wild and loose. So ma'am, you going to jail because these people telling you can't get on the plane with your bathrobe on.
I think the problem when it comes to air travel, because it's a tax-funded airport and stuff, everybody thinks it's government-owned. These airlines are private businesses. They have their own rules, and because it's under federal guidelines, if they tell you to do something and you don't do it, you could be arrested because of the danger and the nature of what they do in the business. But people keep forgetting it is a private entity and they make their own rules. If there's an airline out there that says we don't want Black people on the airline, there's nothing the government could do about it. Now, I don't know how long that airline will exist on its business model, but the point is, it's a private airline and they could make any rule they want to. Have you gone to a store and they say no shirt, no shoes, no service? Have you seen that in the private businesses? It's the same thing in the airlines. They make their own rules. And if you don't want to apply by those own rules, it's at that point when you don't apply or you don't listen to what they're telling you, it's called trespassing. Even though you're on a tax-funded paid airport, you are now trespassing because you're messing with their business. So a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, you're gonna argue them down. You're gonna go to jail. What's gonna happen? Arneba says this reflects a part of the effect of their parents and grandparents rejecting the message of the Million Man March. I totally agree with you. Imagine if all of our parents would have adhered to the message, a message to the Black man in America, right? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We'd be so much better off. Again, you don't see the sisters in the nation dressing like that. The sisters in the nation be covered from head to toe because you don't need to see all what's going on all up under her clothes, right? That's for her and her husband. Okay. And I think that's also, I think, maturity when you get to a point to where you say, you know what, I could, show all my girls and all this. I'm just speaking from a woman, but maturity says, and well, who is that really for? That I show all of this off? Okay, if it's for me, and I could do that at home, right? I look in the mirror, it's like, But you going outside and you have naked. It's like, to me, I think once you grow up, you don't really see the need to have to do that.
Yeah, I'm working on Demetria when she takes pictures. Me and her dad used to say this back in the day. She got to cover up them hands. I'm gonna get you some gloves. Get you some gloves. You haven't completed the whole outfit.
Right. I mean, like I said, I was young once, so I wore a short skirt or two. I'm not, sitting up here like I'm self-righteous, right? But I just feel like when you get older, and I'm older, I'll be 55 this year, I just think there's certain examples that I have a duty to uphold the standard. Okay, I can't be the hot girl forever in the club. I mean, even when we went to the rodeo, we saw older women. It was women in their 60s. One lady had on a negligee. It looked like, it's like, so who's the grandmamas? Who gonna be the aunties? Who gonna be the no ma'am? That is too short. Where is your slip? Right? Well, who's gonna be that? So, I get it. You can, but should you? Like who? I am the matriarch of my immediate family. Y'all see me doing this, right? I'm the matriarch of my immediate family. How do I become an example if I got auntie and mama? I don't have no grandkids yet, but I got my cheeks all over the place and my boobs all. Who? How can I have a conversation with them? If mama and auntie acting like that.
You bring up a good point there too. Because sometimes I look at some women that are my age and older that are now just starting to get tattoos. They didn't have tattoos when they were younger. It's almost like the young kids are influencing the older women and men. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's reversed. And of course, I can see why it's reversed. The baby boomers don't want to give up power because that was the group that said, don't trust nobody over 30. And they're going to change the world with music when they were young. Now they're the old people and they don't want to give up the power. But I'm seeing a lot of I kind of wonder. I look at some women that are my age and men that are my age that never had tattoos before or whatever is going on now. It's like they're competing with the young people to stay relevant. And I'm saying, how can you tell a young person not to do this and not to do that, and yet they see you got a Superman emblem on your chest as a woman, you know what I mean? Whatever they got, and it's going up to their neck and stuff, you know what I mean? And it's just, you got purple hair, and here you are telling them, yeah, girl, get this education and do all that, but you look like a clown after spending $250,000 in debt to get an education that will never happen because now AI and all this other stuff. But I sometimes wonder, are we influencing the older people? Are we influencing the younger people, or is it the other way around? And I'm starting to see, especially in these single run female houses, it seems like the mothers are more the friends of their daughters. And this is why the daughters don't respect them and the sons don't respect them, because they're more the friends than they are the parent.
Yeah, and sometimes Glow the Dean don't want to give up the ghost. I ain't talking about she need to go up the glory, but Glow the Dean, she can't give up the glory days. Now, for those of y'all are new here, Glow the Dean is a name for my old lady, right? Yeah, Glow the Dean's like, shoot, I still got it. So in a sense, sometimes Glow the Dean is out there competing with the young women and this, that, and the other. It's like, if you don't sit down somewhere, grandma, sit down, okay? There used to be an honor to be an older woman with some sense. You know what I mean? That there's a lot of women out there like that still, but unfortunately the attention is put on the women out there who still trying to be young, hot, and turnt, and she's 65 years old and is like, listen, you need to go get some knitting needles and sit down to some buttermilk and cornbread at night. Okay, that's where you're at. Brother Easy says this is the behavior that is shown to the world that harms our image. I agree with that to a degree, but I think our image will never be sanitized in the eyes of those who unsanitize our image, right? Because again, when we were put on those plantations, we weren't that. We learned that the foolishness from them. As it has been said in the nation, and James Baldwin said that we did not, I'm going to use this term once for educational purposes, we did not create the nigga, okay? But unfortunately, we behaved like that. So we don't have to continue to behave like that. That is something that was taught to us from them. That's why I don't argue over that word. That's not our word. We want to pink slip to the N word. It's like, for what? Right? So, but we don't have to behave that way. So in a sense, there's nothing we could ever do to make them see us favorably. And in a sense, we don't see them favorably either, right? It's like, think about it, Brother Easy. Is there anything that they can do to make us say, oh, well, they're all right with me? We'll be here a long time. Bernard, how you doing? Says black folks doing wrong always bring up race card. Sad. Not always. It shouldn't be brought up, especially if it's something within our community that we can control. Kevin, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let me skip down a little bit so I can catch up. Zoo Tours, what's going on? Says, don't y'all eat Beyonce's mama gumbo at the rodeo? She making folks sick like you know what? I don't know anything about Beyonce's mama's gumbo. I heard about it. I seen different reviews. Some people said it was good. Some people didn't like it. But people was gonna line up just to see say hi to Miss Tina. Well,
$25 for a little cup. That's outrageous. Outrageous.
And you know what, too? I'm gonna push back I'm gonna get back to this Miss Tina thing just a second. Sean, how you doing? Says dropped off no money. And I know I'm behind in the comments, so forgive me. Let's see. African Native, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else? Sean said hungry, thirsty, and looking for mischief. Once they pat that fee to pay that fee to get in. So you talking about drop the kids off with no money? Say yeah, don't do that. Don't drop the kids off with no money. I never understood that. Let's see. Skipping on down. Brother Sammy says, mom would say you got to raise children. Yeah, I said that to somebody earlier. Because you have a mama, you have children biologically. Yeah, you're a mother, but it takes a parent to raise the children. And a lot of people are not parents. There's a difference. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Real quick, guys, do us a favor. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. It helps the algorithm. And if you guys want to buy Demetra K a cup of coffee for all she does, because tomorrow is Monday, please feel free to do so. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I can use some coffee right by now, but I'm observing Ramadan. I'll tell you what, that hour being added on It's like, oh God. I mean, I'm cool. I just be thirsty and I get real fatigued now. But you know, the good thing is that I've done Ramadan, and the good thing is it's over on Wednesday. Okay. Scoop, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Says my triplet daughters, triplets. Tried that everything hanging out at school. I left work, uniform and all. He says, I'll just say I'll put an end to that. They thought I was Blackie Chan. Blackie Chan, you ain't embarrassing this family. See, that's what I'm talking about.
See, and the fathers all have the same narrative. You ain't gonna embarrass my name.
Yeah, and we need to get to that. But again, there's a lot of people out there. Well, I was a kid once, and all of that. See, that's the type of daddy I grew up with. I had a stepfather and a father, and they didn't play that mess. It wasn't no negotiating with what you won't do is wear that, right? And it might not even been that bad, but hey, is what they said. That's it. That's all, But we need that. We need to get back to what parents will say. Go up to the school and say, now, because my dad, when he got the stuttering, it was going to be belt to ass after that. Okay. So we need fathers to get up there. No. Didn't I tell you?
Well, wait. What wasn't there something? I remember one time you told me there was something you were wearing, and your mom and your dad and stepdad, they kind of had a conversation. Could you kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I was 16. Hey, Quan, how you doing? I was 16, and in the 80s, it was mini skirts was in. Okay, it wasn't nothing bad. It was a mini skirt. So I was getting ready to go out to school. My stepdaddy was like, "You're not wearing that." I had paid for it with my own money, had a job and stuff, and I was like, "But why? It's mine." And he said, "You can't wear that." Okay, so he went to work, and I'm mad. My mom says, "We're gonna put some stockings on, and you can wear it. But to have it off by the time you get home." Now, honestly, skirt wasn't that bad. My stepdad might have been doing too much, but the point was, I couldn't go to school with the skirt on, and the stockings that I wore, they were white, so they weren't like clear stockings. They were white. They might as well have been some pants under it. So my mom made concessions. She's like, "Yeah, you can't wear it like that, but go and put some stockings on, you be all right."
Right now, the reason I asked you to tell that story is your mom, even though she went basically against what her husband said, she used wisdom and said, don't have it on when you come back, or when the stepfather, when your stepfather's back in there. So it keeps the drama down. The problem is now the mothers, girl, you can wear what I tell you to want. You can wear it if you want to. And it goes directly into, it's almost like there's no wisdom. It's always a confrontation with these younger mothers, with the fathers of their daughters or whatever. Whereas even I, having stepchildren, I said one thing, right? And I went home, whatever. Then one day I came home, and what I said went against what was happening. And of course, at that point, there was consequences. And me and the mom got into it, whatever. And then my mom had to, because her mother's passed, my mom had to step in and say, hey, this ain't a fight you want, because you went against what your husband had told you not to do. It's like, she took up a fight that she really couldn't win, because she was wrong in the fact that she got caught. My mom said, sometimes, when you get caught, you got to own up to it. And, again, again, ladies, you got to use wisdom in regards to your husbands or your significant others. Yeah. We know these girls are going to go do this, and the guys are going to go do that, but have your kids have some sense and say, okay, well, I don't want you to go looking like a sleep, put on some stockings and go on, but make sure you come back and be smart about it. That's all.
Yeah. that was a funny time, but now that I'm older, I understand those things. Hey, Mr. Ernest, how you doing? Says the older women act like they missed out on something late in late 20. Says so they're trying to compete and stay relevant with the younger crowd. In my opinion, oh yeah, and it's like, I mean, at this age, what I look like at almost 55 years old, competing with some 20-year-olds. I think I want to get some self-respect, some knowledge of self, and really know who I am and who I'm supposed to be in the family and in the community. I mean, I should be the example. That the younger women should be looking up to me, not me looking up to them. Why am I going? I'm gonna go try to be like them. I'm going to buy the clothes they buy. No, you're too old. And I always use this example. Hey John, how you doing? So some of these so-called parents just use the rodeo as a free babysitter. Yeah, I don't think you should be able to drop your kids off if they're not 18. Then you can't. You got to come with them. Okay. But I always use this example. It's one of my favorite movies. Y'all can judge me. I don't care. Mommy Dearest is one of my favorite movies. A lot of good lessons in that movie. But there's a point where Joan, she had came home from a dinner date with Greg, her boyfriend at the time, and she was mad at him, and she's giving him the business. She's drunk, and she talking to him crazy. Now they've been together for a long time, and he just looked at her, let her finish. He says, "You know what? When you were younger, it was cute. Now that you're older, it's pathetic." And he broke up with her, and that was it, right? And I never forgot that because he was basically saying, okay, yeah, we in your 20s and 30s and whatever, when you're younger, there's concessions. People put up with that for a little bit, but when you get older, it's like you know better. Like it comes to a point, like if you're in your 50s and you still, having the need to compete with the younger women, you're never gonna grow up. And that sends red flags to a lot of people. This woman or that even man, right? They do not have the ability to grow up. If they are not going to evolve at this point, they're never going to evolve. Okay. So yeah.
I'm just gonna put this out there. Every Mother's Day, I watch Mommy Dearest. That is like a cult class. They say it's a camp classic because it was kind of overacted with what's her name? Faye Dunaway. I thought she did a great job in the movie. But I remember when it first came out on HBO, we were watching it, and my mom would watch it, and I just thought it was just great. So if you're a mom out there, Mother's Day, if you haven't seen that movie, go see that movie. It is a great movie, especially when it came to the wire hanger scene. And Demetra, don't lie. And how many of you guys that have seen the movie, don't lie? How many times when your parents had told you either do something and you didn't do it, they let you go to sleep, and then they wake you up late at night and make you go do it? We've all been through that.
Yeah, you have to wash all the plates and dishes in the sink and the kitchen one time. You will never not wash the dishes again. I'm a witness. Zutur, she says, I tried Ramadan, but I think I technically cheated. I drank a lot of tea with a bunch of honey and water during the day. Yeah, the premise is not to put nothing in your mouth. No water, not even water, right? So yeah, but it's the effort, I think, that counts. I listen to the Uma Reflects almost every morning. And I think it's Sister Nisa. And she was talking about how, Allah is not expecting you to be perfect, right? Your effort that counts and things like that. And some people are new to it. Like this is my first time practicing Ramadan or whatever. And I tell you, it was tough the first couple of days. But then I, pretty much got used to it. So it's definitely very challenging, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to, reveal a lot of things to you and, teach you discipline. So I'm really enjoying that part of it. But I'll tell you right now, I'm thirsty. Let's see here. Yeah, and Christina says, come through, fathers. Absolutely. And Reggio says, Ramadan after the Ramadan, keep the plate turned down. Yeah, I'm hoping to keep some of those habits as well. You realize you really been eating too much food, because when it comes time to eat, in my head I'm greedy, but then when it comes time to eat, I can't eat any of the things I want to eat, right? I'm gonna get back to the gumbo conversation in just a second. The average logical thinker says Mama was a real one. Absolutely. Easy says Mama Tina's gumbo is goulash, according to some. Oh, you know what? I don't know. I have something to say about it. Lynette, how you doing? Hope you're doing well today. Rose says no more wire hangers. Okay, I'm telling you, that movie right there. Take notes. John says some of these women are old chicks, in the club, and aren't willing to accept it. They can't accept that they aren't it no more. Hey, listen, there's old women in the club and old dudes in the club. Okay. Hey, they still got their clothes, they rayon shirts and cross colors from 1992, busting the buttons out, got a hole in their donut up here, and they up there, doing the cabbage patch. They trying to wind it, but they can't really because they shoulders, so they can only do one side cabbage patch because they got arthritis in one shoulder.
Much less got that beer belly sitting at the bottom.
Yeah, the belt is like, this is a 1992 belt. You need a 2026 belt. Quan, you say, we also need more community clubs like Boys and Girls, yet grassroots oriented, so youth have a place to go after school where there's positive mentors, parents know where they are and don't have to worry. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm a beneficiary of the Boys and Girls Club. I was one. I had parents that kept my siblings and I involved all the time. There was no idle time. It wasn't just going to be at home watching TV. I mean, we had like Atari and stuff like that, but they had cartridges. So when them things got hot, then he was like, all right, you go find something to do, right? But so with that, yeah, we got to find extracurricular things for our children to do, because they say idle mind is a devil's playground. And yeah, they get into trouble, and then the parents, like I said, parents ain't no better. Parents lock to their phones. They are on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and all day long. They don't even know what the kids are doing anymore. These phones are raising the children. The phones are the parents. Chat GPT, AI, TikTok, those are their parents. Those are where these kids are now learning about life. They're not learning about it from the parents anymore, because the parents are tuned out. The parents is like, shoot, I ain't got to pay no babysitter. I'll give them a tablet when they're 2 or whatever, a phone, and they all day long, and they listen, they ain't got to bother you. You ain't got to hear from them for all day long until they say, Mama, I'm hungry. Then you might tell them to go to the microwave and put in some tater tots or whatever. So I'm saying that, parents aren't really parenting anymore.
Yeah, well, the sad thing about that, and you bring up a good point, they give them these tablets and stuff, and the kids are dumber than rocks. And I'm going to give you an example for when I'm working at the store here. One of the craziest things I ever see, and I'm a people watcher. I will be at the store minding my business, doing what I need to do there. And somebody will come up to me and they'll go, could you tell me the price of this? And I would look in their hand and there's a smartphone, right? Now, how many of you guys know if you go to the website of the store that you are shopping at, it has a scanner there. You could look up the price yourself. You could look up how many they have in the store, whatever the deal is. For as smart as these people think they are, you're just looking at them, when I'm there, I kind of laugh, because it's like all of this technology and people are as dumb as a doorknob.
Donovan, don't get me started on AI. Don't get me started on none of that, because I just, for me, and I don't think it's a secret to anybody, I've not been a fan of AI for a very, very long time. It's not a secret, and I never will be a fan of AI. And for one of the very many reasons is what you mentioned. It has created so many dummies, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. Hey, brother Don, how you doing? But it's created so many dummies that cannot think for themselves anymore. They go to their phone and ask questions like, well, what happened to you figuring it out and come to the conclusion yourself, right? And so that's what we have in society. But as I said, I've studied AI for a long time. I know what it does, and I know what it's designed to do. And it's actually designed to rob you of thought, rob you of self, rob you of anything that you can do for self, right? Because the oligarchy, we talk about the oligarchy, but we don't talk about that they are the owners of AI, and they mean to make humans obsolete, right? They don't want you to think, because thinking is what stopped them from getting to where they are sooner. So the sooner they get people to stop thinking for themselves, the sooner they could take over the world, right? In a sense, right? And not in a good way. So if you watch Terminator and you believe what you saw, I know it's fiction, but is it really? We are already here. So I know people talk about AI is useful. It is to a degree, right? I use it every once in a while. I don't lean on AI every day. I don't like AI really because of what it's doing to the communities. But as I said, with the Trump administration, he is the great equalizer. He's letting everybody know if you're white, black, green, you can get it, because they putting these super data centers in white people's neighborhoods next to them in suburbia, and it's nice. And they're mad now, but it's like, but you guys were okay with it when they put these cancer clusters in the black neighborhoods, right? It was fine then, but now that the oligarchy letting you know you can't sit with me, you ain't in my tax bracket, I'm gonna plop one of these big old giant things in your neighborhood that suck up the water, the air, make everything for you more expensive. In some places, these nice neighborhoods, they can't even draw clean water because this data center that's has to be cooled off with all this water. It's getting priority water. So when we talk about AI and how helpful it is, it's like helpful to who? Who is it? So you mean to tell me that we should use AI to the point to where it harms other people because it's helpful to certain people? See, I'm one of those people. I can't. right? So I won't get into that because that's a loaded
Real quick, one who cares says, and she's at the bottom of the chat. She says,
Okay.
can't count money, can't tell time on an analog clock. That's our children right there.
Yeah. Don't do cursive. None of that because they have everything telling them what to do. You know, the problem already with education was that it teaches you what to think. Okay. If you think about it, even in church, it teaches you what to think. School teaches you what to think. What teaches you how to think? Even at home, you're taught what to think. Do as I say. Well, what about? Don't worry about all it. Like we won't have conversations with our children. It's to help them formalize thoughts and to get to do. My daughter started to show me this beautiful video yesterday, and it was this guy. Okay, he has 3 little boys, and he says we're going to Costco, and he let the little boys do the shopping. Now he's there filming, but they got they couldn't have been. I think the oldest one was probably 7, maybe. And they're checking off the list and they're reading and, sounding out the words and they're going to get the stuff. The little oldest one, he's so cute. He was like, we got to get this because it's on sale, right? And the daddy was happy, but he put them in charge of the shopping trip instead of just having them in the basket as he's putting things in. He's teaching them. And I was like, see, this is so refreshing because I had a dad like that. Get in his car. Okay, my dad was a mechanic. I need you to drive this car. We taking it back. What? And I'm like, we don't know how to drive. It's like, we'll figure that out later. Just get in the car. Okay. So we're not teaching our children how to think. And so then you put this in their hand. Well, ask ChatGPT. Ask Grok. So you mean to tell me you're going to further rob your child of how to think? And then y'all want to know the cold part? The cold part is when they turn 18, we going to put them out. Because you grown now. So first of all, even before Grok and ChatGPT and all these things came in about, we in our community, we do it the most and it's sad. We put them out. 18. We didn't teach them nothing. So now you're putting Grok, ChatGPT, and all these other things in their hand that dumb them down even more. And when they turn 18, get out. Well, you didn't teach me anything. I spend a lot of time with ChatGPT and that. Well, ask ChatGPT what you're supposed to do. So it's sick.
Yeah, and it's sad because I majored in physics, and usually a lot of people then when they hear physics, they think like, I didn't major, I minored in it. I'm sorry. They think that, oh my God, you got to be a genius. All physics is understanding how things work. So in high school, remember this thing called physical science? Remember physical science? You had the little magnet project and it showed you how to do this and how to make the magnet move this way. That's all it is. But if you look at the curriculum of students nowadays, they rarely teach physical science to make these kids think how to reason. Yeah, Easy says deductive reasoning. Exactly. And then they put this fear. Oh, you got to be a genius to be in science and all this. No, you don't. It's figuring things out. That's all it is.
Thank you, Christina. Love and appreciate you for that. Yeah, but the thing is, they don't want you to think. They don't. That's why if you listen to or watch or read rather 1984, the thought police, you will get in trouble for thinking. They don't want you to think, so people don't think because they're scared because they like do away with you, right? And that's what
Tom Cruise, AI, the AI movie, Tom Cruise, that one.
Yeah. But we've come to that where thinking is almost, it'll be outlawed eventually, and we are helping it get to that point. And it's sad because we don't realize what we are co-signing. We are co-signing our own, the death certificates in a sense, because I get it. It's helpful. I use Google mostly. If I have to look something up, I use Google or whatever it is, but I don't ever want to get to the point to where I got something else doing all the thinking for me. I just never want to be there. Never.
Right. Here's an important thing from the great Al Jackson on Good Times. That's all it is JJ was a failing student and the principal wanted to push him to the 12th grade, but Florida and James wanted him to stay back because he wasn't ready. How many of you guys remember that episode? That was a classic episode. And JJ ended up going to the 12th grade, but he promised he would do better in the next grade.
Yeah, but they got that George Bush and them, no child left behind. It's like some of them kids need to be left behind, okay? Brother Easy says, D, have you noticed unmanned rather cars all over Houston? I was behind one today, and I know, I don't really be out there like that, but I've seen and heard a lot about the Waymos. I think they are the cars that I wouldn't be getting in one of those. I don't trust AI like that at all. But it's and I know it's everywhere. But I'm gonna be one of those people, the resistance. I'm gonna be the resistance to where I'm gonna resist it as much as I can. I will not aid and abet what is being done to humans. I'm just not gonna I'm not gonna be a part of that. I don't demonize anybody else who is. I'm gonna be part of the resistance. I'm not gonna do it. Let's see. And and Donovan, I remember at one point in time, he had AI his whole damn house. And then he said, you know what? I thought about it one day. This thing could literally lock me out or a hack. I can, and he took it down. Everything was like AI, everything. He's like, I thought I really have to think about that. Like, what am I doing? But people are doing that. They're willingly implementing AI in listen, other day, I was watching TV with my daughter, kind of haphazardly, not really watching it, and this commercial kept coming on. It was Alexa. So the chick, I don't remember who it was, she gets out of bed, and she's
smart Alexa Plus. Yeah.
She's having, and so I saw it the first time, and I wasn't paying no attention to it. Then the second time when it came on, I said, Deanna, this lady woke up out the bed and had a whole conversation with AI. Alexa, this, what do you know? Haha, smarty pants. You're gonna be late. And I said, well, oh my God, this is so creepy. She's literally waking up and having a conversation, and they're trying to tell you this is normal. Can you wake up and have a conversation with a thing that's able to go back and forth with you in real time? Like they're having this like banter. I was creeped out by it completely.
Well, think about this. With all the smart TVs, the Alexas, the Google Home and Home Google, whatever all that stuff is, they put that these things are listening to you, and they're taking all that wording and in formulating it and doing what they're going to do with it, right? And now it's coming back and talking to you. But think about this. If Google and a private company is accumulating all that information, what do you think your government is doing?
Them be the main people. I'm not gonna sign that. I'm not gonna agree to that. You know how many things you've agreed to, and you don't know where that information is going? That's why I don't like to really put my face and things like that in AI too much. I know people do. I just don't like to do it because it's like I know my image is out there because of what I do, but you willingly putting your stuff in there is like.
And again, I know we're kind of going a little bit left here with this conversation, but I want you guys to think about if you guys are one of those people that have wired your house AI. I'm at this store, and this guy, he wants to, remote control his fan. He wants to remote control his lights. I said, well, then you're basically just sitting there like a potato. You're not getting up. You're not burning any calories because everything is through your phone or through the remote. And I said, how is that going to help as you age and you gain more weight? And you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense, what we're doing. And I remember when I did mine, I had AI for my attic fan. It was for everything. And I just looked at it and I said, this is insane. This is insane. The government could come down. Think about it with the Patriot Act, whatever, even though these private entities have your permission, even though you probably didn't really give it because you didn't read anything, but you actually gave it. If the government wanted that information from these companies, you don't think the Patriot Act gives them the authorization that company has to give that up? They're not going through no damn courts. They're going to take it at the time that they need it. Then what? Oh, that's right. It's too late.
Hey George, how you doing? Somebody sent me a picture. I'm gonna put it up briefly. As soon as I send it to myself, and somebody at the rodeo that gets a picture that's roaming around. I hope I don't get in trouble for it, but hold on, give me 1 second. FBA code, how you doing? Says the CDC says Black American fathers are more involved than any other communities. I know this comment is late. No, it's not late. It's right on time actually. The Black man father is more involved with their children than anybody. I think the point of contention is he probably doesn't live in a home with his children and the mom, but he's still more involved. So like picking the kids up, spending weekends or weeks, or being involved. So that is absolutely true. We know who the original baby daddy is. Okay, we know who the original baby daddy is. So let's see, who else haven't I seen? And the average logical nigga says, I refuse to connect everything in my home. No Alexa here. Now Alexa creeps me out. I was at Donovan's house the first time I ever heard an Alexa. We was in his living room and we're talking and I heard something say something like, or something. I said, who here? Who here with us? Donovan said, oh no, that's just my, whatever it is. I said, that scared the hell out of me. I didn't know what it was, but I think he since unplugged it. I don't know, but I was like, that's scary. Hey, Brother Jonell, how you doing? And Zoo Tours, says, I'm all for freedom, but they know we don't want, she says, they know that we don't want to see another 9/11, but that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, there's some intel that I heard that came out from the Iranians that said, hey, they may be planning another 9/11 to avert from this whole Epstein thing, because, the Iranians call Trump and them Epstein regime.
But wait a minute. How did these Iranians get into the country like that? How?
Yeah. It could be. Well, they said they're here and they've been the sleeper cells have been activated, depending on what you believe.
But how did they get here? How could that possibly happen with all the money we pay? To have passports and TSA and customs. How did these people get here?
Well, they got here the same way they got here under the George Bush administration, where they flew them planes into, same. Coin says, I'm about to stop soon using you-ish agent YouTube. Okay, got you. Chat room, because of what we're saying. Luckily, it's the only social media I use away from email, which aren't protected either. They're watching us. Yeah, and you know what, Quan? Even in your emails, they ask you if you want to use AI to help you. I didn't even. How did you even get in my emails? No, I don't need you to help me. Right? I'll get rid of all these 30,000 emails on my own. Okay. But like, it's everywhere. It's like everything you type in, whether it's social media, whatever. Oh, AI can help you with that. It's like, sucker, I didn't ask you for your help. Right? You're not been dumb me down. You're gonna have to wrestle me down to dumb me down. I'm not gonna willingly let you dumb me down, because I'm one of those people. I like to think for myself. Which is why I be getting in I don't get into a lot of fisticuffs verbally with people, because I stopped doing that a long time ago. But I'm gonna think for myself, right? I don't like everybody else doing the thinking for me. If we think, we're gonna be thinking together. We're gonna be having conversations. We're gonna be iron sharpening iron. We're gonna be bound. Like, I'm not just gonna be, like a zombie and just going along with it. I want to know why. I want to know who. I want to know what. I want to know when. And if you got a problem with me asking you those questions, then we don't need to have a conversation. You ain't on my level. But that's what we're getting to, where people cannot have conversations anymore. And even the children, you see some of these children, Donovan, they can't string two sentences together. Because for one, ain't nobody talking to them. And they're not at a point to where they don't even, I think it was Brother Arnie was talking about the rotary phone. Oh no, that guy from Texas, the rotary phone, right? Like, I wish I could have a rotary phone. I would love to get back to being very analog. Everything is so digital, but what I'm saying is the phone is, people used to have to, Donovan, when we was trying to cupcake, when we was kids, hey, how you doing? You have to figure out how to conversation. Now it's, you're texting, you making up stuff. But then when you get on the phone, it don't translate from the text message to the phone conference. They don't translate because they don't know how to do that.
You got to remember, we get the phone. At least in my mama's house, I couldn't just pick up the phone. That was her phone. I couldn't pick up the phone. But if I did pick up the phone, I better know how to answer it. Hello, this is the Malloy residence, blah, blah, blah. Or if I'm calling into somebody's home, hello, Mr. Culture, this is Donovan, Demetrius' friend. Is Amanda there?
You know what? There's been plenty of times of friends have called my house. Can I speak to Demetria? My parents be like, can you? Then they get don't you never call this a phone and say, hello, may I speak to? Don't you ever? That's the conversation they would get, because it is rude. Can I speak to? It's such and such. Yeah, they hear. They had that too. Yeah, they hear. Be silence on the phone. What can I speak to them? Because that's what you should have led with. Hello, may I? Hello, can I? You know, not it's such. And first of all, you talk to some kids, calling some grown-up house like that. You know what I mean? And like you said, you better not be calling nobody house. Can I speak to? Hello, how you doing, Miss Such and Such, Mister? Can I speak to? You know, you have to get permission, not demand. So yeah. School says nothing better than reading. I bought a set of encyclopedias. I made all of them read. Then I made them explain what they read. Yep, good old book reports, right? Good old
current events. Current events.
Yeah, current events. Comprehension. Well, what did you read? You know. But yeah, I said this to somebody earlier. I said people don't even buy their kids books no more. What's the last title of a book you bought your child?
You know, you bring up a good point because they have the book bin in the Winco and all these stores and stuff, and it's sad because I've got a nephew that doesn't even know who Mark Twain is. He doesn't even know the Odyssey, adventure, things like that, the classics. Oh yeah, I know it's a white classic, but the point is that's the education system we're taught here. But just things like that. It's getting so bad. A lot of them don't even know the Color Purple, the original book. But they know the movie, but they don't know the book.
Can you imagine if you buy some of these kids a book for Christmas, you might get it thrown at your head?
I did that for my nephew. I stopped buying him like toys and, the thing that he needed when he was real smaller. I started buying him books. It didn't matter to me if he didn't like it or not, but that's what he got.
Yeah, Baldy, the people... them people ain't gonna care if our kids learn or not. They don't want our children to learn. They want them to be stupid. So, because my daughter, she actually enlightened me this years ago. She says, if y'all don't know, I have a very smart daughter. She says they don't want you to procreate because they want you to have children. They want you to procreate because they want to keep a workforce, but that you're not procreating anymore. Now they got to bring in AI and do the job because these kids, this generation, they're not trying to be at no job. And I don't blame them for 5 days a week, giving 8, 9, 10 hours a day to the man. And then they can go home and can't, pay their rent, their car note or whatever. So a lot of these kids, they're acting kids to me, but they're doing gig economies where they go make a couple money, get paid that day, and they pay their bills and they go do whatever they got to do. And so now the machine, if you will, is like, okay, well, we can't depend on humans no more. They want a vacation, they get sick, they got maternity leave, they want health care. So we'll bring in a machine, okay? And the AI, boy, I tell you, ain't nothing make me madder. Yes, I said matter. Then when I trying to call and get some information, oh, maybe I can help you with that. No. Give me the representative. Oh, before I get you to the representative, tell me what it is and maybe I can help you. Give me to the representative. And by that time, you done raise your voice down there, cuss them out, and then you got to say it's a machine. Because they don't want you to, they're trying to get rid of you even having to talk to a human anymore, Well,
again, it goes back to where we're at today. Oh, dang, it's 90 degrees already here. It goes back to how many of you guys have ever gone to a store and you see a young person and the first thing they tell you is, oh, you can get that online, but I'm here now. Oh, sir, you just go on our website. You could do this. This is how dumbing down that they've done.
Yeah. Or even if you've gone to the self-checkout, that many people push back on that originally. I'm not, I don't get paid to work here. But now everybody goes to the self-checkout and it's like problem solved that we just got rid of, probably 30 employees, because you're the new employee. Britt, I hope I said your name right. He says, I used to go to the bookstore with my dad and he allowed me to get what I wanted. He would pick something for himself. Just reminiscing. Yes, remember we used to go to the library. We had a library card. I just rue today to even have to ask, do kids got library cards anymore? But yeah, we used to go to bookstores and things like that. But see, that's the lost art right there. It's the lost art of thinking. That really needs to be explored. The lost art of thinking, the lost art of reading. It's a lost art. And I don't think, and I'm upset because people aren't mad enough about it, where it's just not important anymore. And it should be. And it's sad. Donovan, we'll get to the point where we're going to start to have more and more conversations with people who do not know how to even comprehend what we're saying anymore.
Yeah, and that's sad. That's a scary thing to think about. But the writing's on the wall. I mean, we can reverse all of this, you guys. We really can. And it just takes building our own communities, supporting our own businesses. We could make our own. It's like what the Asians are doing, copying off Black people, of course, that they're doing to become the richest group in the United States. They support their own business. They built their own economies. We got to get back to that. I got a Birkin bag. I got this. We get all this money that we give away rather than building up. And you know what? What's really scary, Demetra? By the time we realize the power that we have and the economics that we have, it's basically, it's never too late yet. But by the time our generation starts going on the glory, hopefully we can change things around, because if it isn't changed around by the time we start getting ready to go, our kids, I want you guys to think about this. With all of the illegals that they've let into this country, do you guys know politically Black people have no voice in this country? Especially if they let municipalities let illegals vote in elections. We have no voice anymore. Politically, no voice. These people who come from other countries are going to get into offices and spaces and divert resources that should be ours to their communities. It happened right here in Los Angeles. It's happening in Chicago, happening in New York. Maryland is just now getting it. There's a video on YouTube where a guy is calling out the 90% Black council members that are not representing the people. It's sad. It's very scary, but this is where we're going if we don't turn it around.
Yeah, brother. Easy comic books. It says used to buy a new one every week back in the day.
Demetra, tell Brother Easy about comic books and what Donovan's got over here.
I'm gonna hit him over his head one day when I go over there. Next time I go over Donovan's house, I'm gonna hit him over his head. He got a comic book that could buy a car. Okay, I'm gonna hit him straight over his head when he ain't looking. He gonna be trying to chase one of the cats and pow. And Alex said, how many Oscars will Sinners win tonight? I don't know. Hopefully they win them all. But if they don't, that don't mean it wasn't a good movie. I was just thinking about books, right? These are just some. Whew, this is just some of the books my dad gave me. Just some. My mom gave me a bunch of books too, but I had a house fire a couple of years ago. So I lost a lot of those. And I'm starting to buy some of the ones that she gave me. My mom was an author as well. She wrote books. But this is just some of the books that my dad gave me. I got like a whole bunch of them, just some of the books my dad gave me. And, he passed. I felt like I didn't need anything that he had. I got some things, obviously, but I felt like the things that are valuable that I can get from my dad, what was the knowledge? Obviously, the knowledge that he gave me verbally, but the knowledge that he gave me in books. This can never, take the place of any money or anything, and nothing. So I just, this just kind of thinking about books and how we don't value reading. It's sad to me. And I will say my daughter, she reads more than I do. She's a reader, and I'm glad that she is. But we just, we have to, like I said, Donovan, it's not too late. We could change this around. We have to get back to it. That's why I said I want to be analog as possible. I try my best now to spend a lot of time off of social media and be present because we're getting older. Life is passing us by. If we're in the car, on the phones, we're always on the phones, Everywhere we go, we're on the phones. And we don't see life around us anymore. We don't. And that's why they said, I was reading this thing. It says we don't remember, like back in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s, because we was there, was vivid. Like we remember things from that time. But then the internet comes in, our memories, we don't absorb many memories anymore because our memories are everybody else's memories. They're in the phone.
And I think one of the greatest mistakes a lot of young mothers and fathers do is they let their kids take these online courses. Now, if you're just coming out of high school, you have no business as a young person taking online courses unless you're, to me, unless you're in the military or something where, that's what you got to do. The thing is, by letting these young people, the online courses are for older people like myself, people that have been in the workforce, you're trying to get this degree, even though you could have all the degrees in the world, there ain't no damn jobs. I think you rob children of experiences that they will never get by not insisting that they go to the campus. They need to go to the campus because let's face it, you make your lifelong friends at college, not necessarily high school. I mean, you're going to have your friends, at high school, but those lifelong friends you're going to meet in college, and those connections you meet and the experience of having that. And I think, and I've seen it here, the disconnect, the lack of socialization. I had a young man came into the store and put in an application and a resume. I looked at his resume and it was expressionless. It was feelingless. This is a young man. It was almost like nothing there. So if you got a young person that's graduating this year or whatever, insist that they go to the campus for those experiences. I hate to let the cat out of the bag. There was plenty of times I saw Demetra on the quad at RCC, sitting there with her little friends, listening to their music. The classes started, and they still there, sitting.
Let me tell you, okay, that playing around in the quad, it kept me in school a lot longer than I was supposed to be there, okay? But I finished. I finished eventually. Boy, the quad was like the Bermuda Triangle. You get caught up in that, you ain't never getting out. That's what a party was, the quad, right? I mean, you're young, so but thank God I finished. That guy from Texas says, I used to hate when I applied for a job on Indeed. I would have to go to their website to finish the application. Yeah, back in the day, you just go in, right? And fill out the paper application, hand it to the manager. They look it over. Okay, can you come back Tuesday or Wednesday for an interview, right? But now you got to do that. It's just a lot. People, they don't go through with all of that. Cynthia, how you doing? Hope that you're doing well today. And Jamasta J, I hope I said that right, says, y'all ninjas is ignorant. Y'all don't read. Okay. Brooklyn, VA, how you doing? I don't do self-checkout. I try not to. Sometimes I do. Sometimes you ain't got no choice. Sometimes ain't nobody there to check you out. So you have to, like, they forcing you to go over there. So, but if somebody's on the cash register, I say 9 times out of 10, I do go to the cash register, right? Because sometimes it's nice to have a conversation with people. Hey, how you doing today? Plus I don't like them cameras really looking at me like I'm stealing something from the self-checkout. And Easy says, reading is relaxing and therapeutic. It is. My daughter, she always gets on me. She says, why don't you read some novels sometimes, some fun books? Because it's rare that I read a fun book. And I get that from my dad. My dad didn't read fun books either. But so sometimes I try to do that, just something light. It's rare. So that I can, because sometimes I read a lot. So it gets tedious. And so sometimes I don't want to read. I just can't force myself to read. And then sometimes I listen to audio books. Jamasa says, after campus, I made no friends at college, just a couple of, okay, you know what? Hold on. I got you. I don't want you to hurt yourself typing foolishness, so I just get you out of here. Got to the bottom. Let's see. Because, people coming in here acting stupid. Act stupid with your mama.
Right. And think about this. Also, by going to college, do you know a good portion of the Black community have met their spouses while in college? And we're not talking about, I'm not saying you can't be a ghetto girl that go, because there's a lot of people that come from poor backgrounds that are going to college to better themselves. But most of your successful Black couples built and met in college, and they built together from there and are probably in a lot of cases still together. So for those of you as a parent, if you want your daughter to meet a quality guy versus the street guy, I'm not saying college is for everybody, because it's not. But I'm saying when you're a young person to not experience that college, because I never got a chance to go to college like that. I went to junior college, took a couple classes here and there, but I was with the old people. I was with the older people. You're taking the night courses and you're in there with, Grandma Slim and Grandma Dynamite and all them, and you're kind of just sitting there. I'm tired from working all day. I didn't get invited to the parties and stuff, but, being in the military, I didn't have to go to the parties because Demetria and the girls would meet us on Wednesdays up at the base club, so we didn't have to worry about it. But the social interaction of the kids today, they need to experience that college life, because eventually the colleges are going to go away. As a matter of fact, there's a study where colleges are losing a lot of money to the online applications versus the actual campus.
Yeah, and Sister Angela, how you doing? Yeah, I also went online as well. I did both. I did both. I like going on campus, but there's some classes they don't have on campus. So sometimes you got to take online courses. Nowadays, back in the day, yeah, there was no online, right? No computer. It was, but not no personal computer where you in the internet and all that. So yeah, you had to go on campus. I did both. I benefited from both because online, I could be anywhere and do my coursework, and on campus, yeah, you have that camaraderie and things like that. Easy says, D, we're about the same age. Do you remember the Hardy Boys mystery reading I showed? Do Nancy Drew and all of that?
Nancy Drew, all of that. Exactly. You had to have that. And then when the show came on ABC, you used to watch the show.
Lady Diana, you wrote 14 books. You got to tell us where we can find them and the name of them, all that.
Yeah. My question is, where's she been? We haven't seen her in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, writing a book, I've been trying to write a book for a year now, and I'm just lazy. You know what I mean? So I should write. There's a lot of things I need to write about. I just got to sit down and do it. But 14 books is amazing. I'd love to know what they're about. I really would. Let's see. Quan says the Terminator Matrix is truly so relevant today. Sophie Stewart, yes. Then X-Men, based on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Brother Malcolm X, like how real it is. Yes, absolutely. And my dad's one of his favorite movies was The Matrix. He said that's real life. I'm like, yes, it is, Daddy. But I agree with you, especially with the Terminator. We think humans. One thing about humans is humans gonna out-human themselves out of being here, okay? Because we don't think it's not that bad. Then when it's that bad, then we get the whining and complaining. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not going to help AI make me obsolete. If that's going to be that way, I'm going to go down fighting. I'm not going to help you do it. I'm just not.
Well, the funny thing, The Matrix for me, it really woke me up about the way I looked at the world. I mean, it just changed my whole outlook about how I looked at the world, because just like in the movie, do you want to see the world the way it is, or the way you think it is, or the way you think it should be? But we're going to show you what the world really is. And that's when I basically got my awakening to how to live. I mean, I don't believe I should, people are programmed, especially Black people, to work until you're dead. How much money do you need to live? How much time do you need to survive? I retired from the military at 42 years old, and I did not want to work again. And I started traveling the world. Yeah, I'm not a millionaire like some of my friends and doing all this other stuff. But guess what? While they're counting their money and working their job still, Demetria, we were in the Seychelles as those rich white folks were looking at us walking on the beach. They were looking at us like, why aren't these people working? And we were just having a good old time, just doing our thing. So, for those of you guys that haven't seen the movie, The Matrix, the first one, I didn't really care for the other ones after that, but the first one, or The Terminator, that is actually, if you look what's going on, is actually happening right now. It's happening right now.
Yeah, but again, we'll get to that point where it's like, oops, did I do that? You surely did. Like I said, I'm gonna be one of the I'm gonna be part of the resistance. As she says, I was homeschooled during high school. If I didn't go to college, I wouldn't have known to socialize at all. Yeah. And I think, we homeschool your children. You should put them in activities where they are able to socialize or whatever. But yeah, I think a college experience is necessary, but sometimes online is just convenient for people. Lady Diane says, I've been super busy these days. I will email y'all about where to pick up my books. Yes, please and thank you. Sister Sunlight, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. This Ramadan is almost over. You know, unfortunately, right? uh, boy, I be having to get up early. I have to get up early. I get up early. I get up early anyway, but like early. If you want to eat and get hydrated before the sun come up, right? So you got to get up early. So yeah, I go to bed at night and I don't hear nothing at all. Quan says, and I was just says reactive learning versus proactive learning. Yeah. Quan says the biggest education is through exchanging opinions with other people because of the emotional contact with others. Yeah. You have to have those conversations. People don't want to do that nowadays, unfortunately. Even people getting in relationships, they want to text. It's like, no, you need to call me. I need to see just how much of a fool you are in real life. Are you going to text me about, I need to talk to you?
Yeah, I know everybody's economically pressed. A lot of people are economically pressed. But I really do believe this. When your child or your grandchild graduates high school, instead of making them go immediately into the college, I say send them somewhere around the world for three to 6 months and let them go out there and experience life. I gave that offer to my son my youngest son, when he graduated. And yeah, he's got his master's degree. He's making all this money. And when I talk to him, one of the things we talk about my adventures and flying around. He's always asking me about these different countries and how this is and how that is. And I would just tell him, boy, you had an opportunity to go for 6 months and just, travel the world and do what you got to do, because I believe that is the greatest experience. You'll learn more in that 6 months than your whole educational system through high school. So, long story short, this boy eventually he's traveled a little bit with us as military people, but he went to Germany. Now, this is my son that was born in Alaska. So he has a story within himself. He was in Alaska, born there. But he went to Germany with his class for like 3 weeks or something like that. To get him out of Germany was like getting an Alabama tick out of your arm. He did not want to come back to the United States. So sometimes if you guys have got the money and the resources to send your children, and if you look at the rich white people, as you're abroad, you will find their kids are in Southeast Asia. What do they call those people? Backpacking, whatever. And they just travel on the continent and they just go, with their friends, and they're just traveling to different countries and experiencing it. That is the best education you're going to get, better than anything a school can teach you.
Albert Chill says, I'm sorry, but being someone who talks on the phone for a living, it's gonna be a hard press to get a call from me. Yeah, I mean, I would hope that those conversations are different at work than they are with somebody, maybe like your girlfriend or whatever it is, right? I would hope y'all not talking about work stuff. I don't know. I guess because I'm from the old school, that's how we got it out the mud. You didn't get the text, WYD. What you doing? Like we had to get it out the mud and cupcake for real. We wasn't really talking about nothing, because your mama or your daddy was gonna be breathing on the other end of the phone, right? Like, didn't I tell you to get out the phone? You been out, so it wasn't really talking about nothing like that. But yeah, I'm just from the old school. I need to hear what you talking about. Because over text, we can copy and paste and say all kind of stuff, make it sound good. Or sometimes it doesn't sound the way it's supposed to sound and we misread things. So yeah, get on the phone. We ain't got to be on there long. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing good. I want to be able to tap into your brain a little bit. I want to see if your thumbs is sounding like your mouth, because the thumbs sound different than your mouth. I know I ain't trying to come out like that, but it translates a lot differently. Over text, you could be fabulous. You'd see people on Facebook like, oh, they're wonderful. Look at, they gotta go in there and they jet setting all over the place. And they dropping people off at the damn airport because they a Lyft or an Uber, but they taking pictures like they going some doggone where, right? So Facebook, social media, it can make people look like they're people they're not. But if you get to know people in real life, even if it's over the phone, it's like, you a lot more wonderful on Facebook. You know, what happened to that person that's typing all these wonderful posts up on Facebook? You on the phone talking about, I don't, well, you know. I'm just saying. All right, so let's see. Where did I leave off before I got to acting stupid? Nando, what's going on with you? How you doing? Arson, what's going on? It says, hey, D&D, I'm super late. I hope you all had a great week. We did. And how about yourself? It says, looks like I missed something. My cousins had invited me to that rodeo week. By your title, seems like it went south. Yes. I mean, I guess it was probably more of a great experience than not. But the night that I went, I was like, surely I've made a wrong turn at the rodeo. And I went to the rodeo. Okay, I got on the bus to the rodeo. I don't know, it was just weird.
Well, now that we're on the rodeo, let's transition real quick. Your opinion of Mama Tina and that gumbo fiasco and opinion about the gumbo. What do you guys think about what you've heard, or those of you guys that have experienced gumbo? Have you ever had let me tell you guys this. There's a difference from being a Northern Louisiana gumbo maker and a Southern Louisiana gumbo maker. There's a difference in how they prepare it and stuff like that. And I know that as somebody who was born there and have a mama and a daddy that is from Louisiana, and we're from the southern part. What's your opinion on this Mama Tina thing? And I'm not trying to disparage her or anything like that, but some people say it was good. Some people say it was bad. I mean, well, not bad, but they said, it's okay. But I'm going to tell you guys this right now, because I went to the best gumbo maker in the world, my mama. And my mama, and even growing up, I don't ever remember my mama simmering gumbo for 18 to 20 hours. So whatever that interview she was saying, that didn't make any sense. You guys imagine eating some food that has been simmering for 18 or 20 hours. Seafood. It would be pureed by then. So what is your opinion? What's your opinion, Demetria?
Well, my opinion is I don't really eat gumbo. I've had it before, just not really my cup of tea, because gumbo got too much going on for me. I'm one of those people. I'm simple when it comes to my food, right? So I didn't ever even think about going to get another Tina's gumbo. But I would say this. I know I would say a lot of people giving Miss Tina a hard time because it is Beyonce's mama. A lot of people feel like she charging $25. She's wealthy. Her daughter's wealthy. Her son-in-law's wealthy. Her other daughter's wealthy. The $25, this, that, and the other. But my thing is, Yeah. That, like my daughter said, all of it was expensive at the rodeo, everything. So she wasn't like her price point was different. So people pay for things. But my other criticism of that is people go eat white folks' food and pay arm and a leg and won't complain, right? But I've seen, and this is the sad part for me, is that I've seen a lot of Black people get on the internet and cry and complain about Miss Tina's gumbo. It's like you're tearing it down. My thing is, if you don't like it, that's fine. Just keep it pushing. But you making whole narratives about Miss Tina's gumbo. And I feel sad because, she's a mom. And I know she's Beyonce's mom, but that doesn't mean that she's less. She deserves less respect, because I would hate that my mom was out there and she was doing something and people would get on the internet and tear her down. Because I think at the end of the day, it's safe to say Miss Tina don't need to be out there selling gumbo. Maybe it's something she just liked to do, she wanted to do, or whatever. But I just wish we would put our foot to the backside of the Koreans and everybody else who sell us bad food and, food poison or whatever it is. I wish we really would get on the internet and say, hey, stop shopping there or whatever. But, Miss Tina is a Black American woman and she's out there and she's partaking in the rodeo. She's out there herself a couple nights. And I'm sad to see people do that to her. I don't think she deserves that, how we feel one way about her or not. Like I said, I had a mama once and it would just break my heart to know that somebody would do that. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But see, I think that's part of the culture as well, where we don't have a reverence or respect for our elders. Miss Tina's in her 70s. We don't have a respect for our elders to where, we don't know how to be quiet. We don't know how to keep things. And to me, that's not even a big deal. You don't like her gumbo, so what? Who cares? It's not like it's earth shattering. Hell, we got a whole war, a potential World War III going on in the Middle East, and people got making narratives about Miss Tina's gumbo. It's like, my God, I don't know. So I just feel like if you didn't like her gumbo, just didn't like it and keep it pushing. But to tear her down, I want somebody said, let's make shame great again. Well, let's make discretion great again. Let's make respect for elders great again. Let's make respect for if I don't like something, I don't always have to get on the internet and do narratives. As Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, think 5 times before you speak. Then, I've heard Brother Nuri Muhammad say, before you act, before what you think, you can add a lot of that. And Napoleon Hill said, if there's something that you don't like about somebody and you really want to say it to him, he says, write it down on a piece of paper, tear it up into 1,000 pieces and throw it into the ocean. If you really must get your narrative out, do that. But you should never let that person hear how you feel about them, especially if it's evil, because what you put out comes back. So I don't really have a conversation about the gumbo. I didn't try it, but everything else around it, I think is a little bit silly.
Yeah, and for those of you guys that don't understand, the roux is the key to the gumbo. And okay, from what I understand, it's pretty hot down there for the rodeo, right?
It's warm.
Yeah. For those of you guys that don't know, most Louisianans, and this is from my understanding as somebody who was born there and have family that is all from Louisiana, most of your gumbo is cooked in the wintertime. Now, it's not really good to cook gumbo in the summertime because it's hot. You're dealing with seafood, the roux, and all this other stuff that has to be balanced. So if you're going to eat hot gumbo in a hot weather and then walk around and you don't have a cast iron stomach, depending on what ingredients you put in there, whatever, you're not going to make it. There's a video where the guy got sick or whatever the deal is. And the minute I saw that video of him getting sick, I said, well, you're walking around in extreme heat and humidity and you're eating hot gumbo from wherever, Mama Tina or wherever he got it from, you might get sick. It's just amazing how people think you could take seafood and just put it on a pot, let it sit there all day like it's some spaghetti or something, and then you could just eat it. It just doesn't work that way. So, and I'm very sure a lot of Louisianans would agree with me. And was just born in Louisiana. I wasn't raised there. I'm a California kid. But, from my family being from there, these are just things, and my mom being the best gumbo cooker in the world, these are just things that I know.
So, Tanny, how you doing? So it was shredded chicken gumbo. Is that what you're saying it was? I don't know. Thank you, Brother Todd. Quan says, gotta add the seafood last few minutes. Yeah, and Easy says, Miss Tina ain't hurting for nothing. Yeah, we know she ain't out there selling gumbo because she broke, right? She got 3 children, a son-in-law, Solange, and Beyonce, right? And even her grandson, he out there doing big things. So Miss Tina ain't hurting for nothing. Listen, I've worked at booths before, selling things or whatever, talking to people, and it's a tedious thing. So I think that if Miss Tina is out there, it's probably because she loves doing that. It's just, maybe she's from Houston, right? They from, I think, the 5th ward, I think, one of these wards. So I don't think she was out there because she needs money. I just think she's out there because she loves, doing that. But like I said, I just think people have gotten to the point to where we just don't know how to disagree without doing the most. So you don't like her gumbo? Okay, great. You don't like her gumbo? Keep it pushing. But I have a love for, I really do have a love for our elderly people. And I just couldn't imagine being Miss Tina or anybody for that matter. But thinking you went out there and did what your heart desire was, and then people are acting a fool, making all these Mama Tina's gumbo. I've seen the narrative and I just kept going. I didn't really listen to any full videos about Miss Tina's gumbo because I'm just, in the words of Brother Nuri Muhammad, trying my best to stay away from negativity. Okay. That's a term that he uses, negativity. I try to stay away from it. Cause for me, I got a lot of other stuff going on in life and I can't spend any more time because I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I'm not dying. I'm not saying that, but I don't want to spend it inculcating negativity all day long. You mad at Miss Tina because she made some damn gumbo. You got all these people going overseas and Trump sent 5,000 troops overseas. To go do what, I don't know. But he sent them over there. We're already hearing, I read a story today. It's very heartbreaking. From a mom and a dad, they got the knock on the door. Donovan knows what the knock on the door is. If you're in the military, you get the knock on the door. She said they got a knock on the door. Her husband opened the door and she heard him say was, oh no. And then she ran to the door and she saw the men in uniforms having to deliver the news that their child was killed, in that plane that went down over there. So we got that kind of stuff going on. And we want to talk about Mama Tina's gumbo, not you, Donovan. I'm just saying, because I've seen the narrative for a week now. And it's like, gosh, imagine how much better a place we'd be if we focus that kind of attention on things that matter, because with the war going on, they don't care if you're Republican or you're Democrat, you're white, you're black. I've mostly seen white people, coming home in those coffins. So this is the machine here. The machine don't care who you are. All they care about is bodies and boots on the ground. That's all they care about, to fight for more, to help them get more of what they don't already need. Right? You're going to go fight a war for another country. And we dragging Miss Tina's gumbo. See, I wasn't talking about Miss Tina's gumbo, and Donovan, I don't think you were either. But collectively, we should be ashamed that we are talking about Miss Tina's gumbo with all of the foolishness we got going on. You know what I mean? So, hello? Well, thank you. You know I'm on live, right? Thank you for that. Bye.
Did you get my robocall? No.
Frankenstein won for best costume. That's what was the word that was given. Frankenstein won for best costume. I saw Frankenstein on Netflix. It was a really good movie. Really good movie. I was amazed. I'm assuming Sinners lost in that category. Okay, so I'm just kind of skipping down a little bit. Okay, so Easy, she's from Third Ward. Okay, thank you, Lady Diana. I get that email when I'm done here. King Simon, he says exactly, stay away from negativity. Yeah, I mean, we and as those of us who are on this live, whether we're on the screen or in the comment section, we have to steer that conversation. Like when people come to us with that kind of stuff, we're like, that's great. But did you know? Right? Have you heard that? Because like I said, Mama Tina's gumbo, I'll probably never taste it. And it's not because I don't want to. It's just I probably never have an opportunity to. And I'm not going to be looking for an opportunity to have Mama Tina's gumbo. But I just wouldn't have gotten on the internet and bash. Another thing too is I know people don't like Beyonce or whatever. I don't have a problem with Beyonce. I like Beyonce.
Easy says that was Miss Tina that called you just now. D, tell the truth.
Yeah, she said checks in the mail. No, but that's Beyonce's mom. That's Solange's mom. And I think we just don't have we don't think about those things. How does she feel seeing people drag her mama over gumbo? Because we all got a mama or have had a mama. And we would go toe to toe with somebody. Donovan, I know you tell that heaven and earth over that somebody that doing something to your mama. So you know what I mean. So I think we got to think about it in those terms. And Donovan's mama come down to make some gumbo. Okay, I just whenever she was making gumbo and I was there, I was a vegan at the time, so I never got a chance to taste his mom's gumbo. But I tell you this, I know that his door was like a revolving door. People coming in getting their bowls of gumbo. Okay.
Right. Wait. Not only did she make gumbo, she made critter too.
Okay. I didn't tell you, mama, don't make no more critter. Okay. Leave the critter where the critter needs to stay. Okay. Look, your mama don't need to be showing up with no critter. Talk about out. You want the leg or the thigh? You want the wing?
You could take the what's that saying? You could take the country girl to the city, but you can't take the country out the girl.
You can't take the critter out the girl. Mr. 619 says, I've been to rodeo 3 times this year and never once ventured onto Tina's booth. I never thought about it. Like I said, I went in and got out and I was not going to be waiting. I don't like waiting in lines. I'm not a line type of girl. It all just depends on what it is. But the line is going fast.
I heard it wasn't a line. It was like a regular booth. There wasn't really like a super long line or whatever, or nothing like that. And they were saying some people were there just because it's Beyonce's mom. They wanted to get a picture with her and stuff like that. But from what I understand, it wasn't like everybody's focused on that booth. It was just a regular booth. And if she happened to be there, she's there. If she wasn't, she wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to eat because again, I'm doing Ramadan. So I just don't be having a big appetite right now. But boy, when it's over, I'm just playing. Mixed Master Mike, Mikey says, we may not always agree. Foundation of Black Americans are not a monolith. That's true. We have different opinions, you know. Zur Tours, I said, I'm trying to think of a vegan option for gumbo, maybe smothered okra. Yeah, you can do a vegan, I'd imagine. I just didn't get a chance to eat his mom's gumbo because I was a staunch vegan. Angela says, let's focus on our attention on homeless seniors. Yep, who are the most homeless population due to rising cost of living. Yeah, nobody's talking about that. I was having a conversation actually with somebody about that. There was this guy, a senior, he makes, I guess, $1,100 a month in his disability and Social Security. He lives in like a trailer home and things like that. And, you know, it was a little bit of a conversation about it. I said, to me, the sad part is the system. I said, seniors should be able to live on $1,100, right? But a lot of these seniors are still working, not because they want to, not just, oh, it's a little cute little check, my little bango check. It's because they got to pay the bills, you know, and we're not talking about they're being priced out of homes. They don't keep the cost of living low for seniors because they're seniors. There's conversation of them working until their 70s. You know, it's like the Social Security, you know, they're trying to raise it to 70. And it's like, so they don't want you to have a quality of life. They want, because they know these young people are like, man, F you, I'm not going to come to work for no 5 days a week. So they keeping these, you know, gloated in and them on the job. And they, boy, I tell you, I always ask Allah, please give me the money. Give me the money because I'll do the right thing with it. There's no way I can have the money some of these superstars have and not just really use it to make a difference. I wouldn't sit on the money and say, well, I'm rich. It's man. The seniors would be good. I'm like, Lord, just give me the money. I would do the right thing with the money. Just bless me with it. That is always my prayer. Just bless me with the money.
Jonelle Muhammad says, there will always serve as distraction as destruction is in plain sight. They do that to the animals. They do that to the animals at the slaughterhouses. We got to become fiends of the truth and awareness, not nonsense. It's truly time out for sport and play and nonsense. Our alignment with the God is critical to our health and future. Revelations 18:4.
Yeah, you know, we got to get tapped back in. We have to, you know. No, I didn't have a funnel cake, Brother Easy. I didn't eat anything at the rodeo at all. I'm lying. I had me a Coke Zero. I don't normally drink soda, but I was just low energy. I had been up super early, and the show didn't start till like 8 something. So I was tired. So I had a little bit of Coke Zero. I mean, hit the spot. I ain't gonna lie, it was good. But that's all I bought, and that mother was $12. And you know how black folks do, especially my age. You know what? How many sodas I could have bought for $12? But that's what that's the only thing I got. So yeah, I did get a nice cup to go with it. Zachariah, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. U-Haul TV, what's going on? She says rodeo equals unofficial state fair. I guess that's what it is. Again, it was started originally for the agricultural aspect of it because, you know, they do have cows and stuff like that up in there. But I saw a lot of cows walking around with some booty shorts. Yeah, Mike, $12. I almost told him to pour it back in the spigot. Wait, what movie was that? Was it Chris Rock? How much for no, what was it? Talking about how much for the $2?
Chris Rock, I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Yeah. How much was it? $2 worth of grape soda or whatever it was.
2 ribs. Give me 2 ribs.
Still worth a drink. You know, I just need a swing. I don't need a whole $12. I was like, boy, I never thought I'd pay a day I paid $12 for a soda. Okay, it wasn't no 12-pack. So anyway, Donovan, what you got to say? Get out here. I'm about to, the real black lexicon. The real lexicon. How you doing? Says, I understand. But if you could fly and soar, would you ever land again? Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Absolutely. Again, you know, guys, before you guys get out of here, please hit that like button on the way out. And again, we thank you guys so much for joining us for this great conversation. Again, don't forget Demetra K and the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. And once again, I'm going to say it because my mom watches this show. My mama makes the best gumbo and critter you will ever get. I'm not lying. My nieces came.
critter, what exactly are we talking about?
Well, those of us that are from Louisiana, we know that, possum and whatever they catch, they can cook up and, and make it happen. But it's usually like possum or something like that, which is the normal. And true story, my niece came over and with her boyfriend, and my mom had cooked this thing up, right? And I'm just standing there, I ain't saying a word. And my mom served it to them. They're like, my mom's like, you hungry? She's like, yeah. So my mom served them the bowl. They were eating. Oh man, they were just tearing it down. Got some hot sauce. They're like that. I looked at them and I said, do you understand what you just ate? They were like, no. I said, you just ate some possum. And they were like, what? I said, but wait. But was it good? They go, yeah, it was pretty good. I said, exactly. It's a mind thing, whatever the deal is. The human person could eat anything. When I went to Sears school, I learned that I could eat anything because if your body's going to reject it, your palate's going to reject it because it's not, advantageous. But yeah, I just say critter rather than anything else. But yeah, my mom and a lot of Louisiana people could do it. So my mom ain't the only one. Oxtail, whatever the Southern thing is, my mom could cook it, but they also know how to do the other stuff. So again.
Let me tell you something. So you give me some critter and don't tell me you're eating critter. Somebody gonna be a critter, okay? Don't feed me no bowl full of critter. I'm thinking I'm eating some chicken and it's some coon ass or something like that. Don't do that to me.
Mike said alligator nuggets, and I'm sorry, Marshall alligator. Yeah, you guys got to understand the South, deer meat. I mean, they cook everything. They cook everything down there.
Somebody gave me alligator nuggets once, and I thought it was chicken, and they was like, "It's good, huh?" And I was like, "What is this?" And they thought it was funny to give me some alligator. I said, "Don't do that to me no more." Okay, I don't eat off the grid like that. I'm just give me the regular schmegular stuff. I don't want no oysters. I don't want none of that stuff.
And real quick before we go, you guys have heard that Jasmine Crockett's bodyguard was deleted in a shootout with the Dallas police. The question a lot of people have been asking, this lady has resources to vet people that are around her. And have you guys ever noticed the Democrats always tell you how safe everything is and all this other stuff, but they all have bodyguards. Have you guys noticed that all the rich people have bodyguards, but they're telling us in our neighborhoods everything is safe? But anyway, that's the topic of discussion. This man had aliases and all kinds of stuff. Maybe tomorrow or sometime down the road, we'll be talking about that as it comes up. Don't forget to join Demetra and I tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central Time. I'm sure Demetra is going to have a great conversation. But let me tell you guys this. We could not do this show 8 years and counting without you guys there to listen to some of the stuff. We truly do appreciate you. Those that have contributed then, now, and in the future, we greatly appreciate it. And we read all of your comments, especially after the show goes off, to make sure we address it hopefully at the next show, or we email you back or message you back. So thank you guys for all that you guys do.
Absolutely. So listen, I'm going to get out of here. It's almost time to eat. You can't eat until the sun goes down. Let's see, the sun goes down. I check every day. I check sometimes throughout the day to see maybe the sun is going down earlier, right? Let's see, the sun is going to go down at 7:30. So I got 25 minutes, but I'm going to tell y'all what I'm going to have, okay? In my mind. Well, I'm gonna have this. I made me some bean soup last night with spinach in it. Really, really good, right? I'm also gonna have a salad. And I made some whiting, some fish. I baked it and everything. So that's what I'm gonna try to have. Okay. And because I'm greedy, I'm gonna eat it all. And my stomach is gonna be, but that's okay. Okay. That's okay. So anyway, I'm just telling y'all, right? A bunch of water is what I'm gonna have. Who else came on here? Mo Money, how you doing? Leotis, what's going on? It says Gator, Rabbit, Fat Peasant, Frog Legs. I love. What do y'all be on? What kind of stomachs y'all got? Y'all got iron stomachs. Hey, Cloudless, how you doing? Y'all be having a Pepto Bismol. Okay, Donovan, where did the critter come from?
Wait, what do you mean? Where did the critter come from?
You like she go wrestle it in the yard and then like to ring its tail? Like where did the critter come from?
Who knows? It could be from the side of the road. I don't know. Maybe she saw somebody do it. Maybe she, it could be from anywhere. Maybe she shot it and put it in the pot and, do what she's got to do, But true story. I remember when I was in the military, and I was younger, I came to visit my mom and I went into the freezer and there was this big leg sticking out and it was a possum. I was like, oh my God, frozen possum. So,
did you eat it?
No. Mm-mm.
So
but my mom
eat critter. She just kind of sneak it up on you with some gravy.
No. If she's gonna serve critter, she'll pretty much let you know. Like especially if you're not somebody from the thing, but because it's not for everybody. But the thing is, if they do it right, you wouldn't even know. I mean, I couldn't tell that from beef from anything else when my mom prepares it.
Nah, they say that all the time. It tastes like chicken, and no, the hell it don't. Mm-mm.
Yeah, no. Again, if you guys are down from Louisiana, Alabama, because remember that's where I'm from is slave territory. So what were the slaves eating back? It ain't like they were eating steak and lobster. These people were eating entrails, whatever the master left.
Like
I mean, chitlin. That's how you got chitlins and stuff like that. So this is a thing that's passed down generation to generation, and in Louisiana culture, Creole and all that other stuff, that's just part of the culture there. So, I'm not ashamed of that. I mean, my mom knows how to do it. Awesome.
Listen, I'm gonna show y'all something. See my shorts? Look, I'm losing some weight, y'all. I could pull my shorts all the way up. So what I'm saying is I'm trying to keep my appetite, right? You talking about entrails and possum legs and rabbit ass and all kind of stuff. I'm trying to eat tonight. Anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. We're going to get out of here because we've been on here too long acting stupid. Anthony says, do frog legs really taste like chicken? I never know because I'm not going to eat no frog legs.
Yes, depending on how you cook it. Like I said, if it's smothered or something like that, they make it differently. But yeah, it could taste like chicken.
Yeah, turkey butts. Anyway, let's go. My brother Sam says a little bit when I saw that possum walking around in the outdoor toilet. No, no, ma'am or sir. Anyway,
Wait. But you got all these black folks that are eating pig and all this other stuff, shrimp, all these bottom feeders, catfish, whatever. A possum is just a bottom feeder that walks the land. I don't know.
I don't eat none of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat no shrimp. I don't eat no lobster. They roaches. Okay, lobsters are roaches. If you didn't know, I'm basic with my food. I don't be. I'll be a boring date. Okay, I'm not eating all the foolishness.
Yeah, and real quick, the Real Blaxican says they are the only ones who know how to cook it right. Anybody can't cook it right. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. You just can't get a possum and think it's going to be a certain thing. So, or whatever critter it is. Gotta know what you're doing.
I'll take y'all.
Oh wait, and the reason why that is because of what did my mom say? It's the gland. They have a gland or something, and you got to get those glands out, or it's going to spoil the meat. It's something in them or something like that, and that's a lot of animals. But if you guys ever got a question, just email my mom. She'll tell you.
And make me want to go back to being a vegan again. Anyway, OG Lace says protein. You gotta get it. What do the elephants do? What would elephants do? Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Peace. See y'all tomorrow.